David Radney, your host of Scotch and Scripts. Join me as I sit down with Ryan and Theresa to talk about what we need to be doing in December to start off 2020 strong. Thanks for joining. So, Ryan, Theresa, one of the reasons I wanted to have this call right now, I know that you guys understand the importance of lead generating, specifically during this time of the year, November and December, when everybody else is asleep at the wheel. If we can continue grinding, we're going to build our pipeline for 2020 to have a great year. And so I just wanted to have some dialogue with you guys that I could share with the other agents, whether it's Breakfast Club, Push, or just any agent that doesn't understand the importance of getting on the phone right now. I wanted to have a conversation with that about you guys and what we can say to encourage them to pick up the phone, especially during the month of December.
I love this question. It's my favorite. Anybody close to me, anybody at Breakfast Club knows that I make it very high on my priority list to do a giant pattern interrupt. And yes. I started off in this business without a pretty much pot to piss in. And I didn't know anybody. And the people that I did know that had some scatol, that's for my Italian people, that means money. Basically, I didn't want to bother them. I wanted to first prove myself and then, get their business. And right. Now looking back at it, my drunk monkey.
Of course.
However, by doing that, my only way of putting food on the table and keep the lights on was to make an obscene amount of phone calls. And when I'm doing that with thousands of other agents, it's real hard. So I took advantage of the fact that I knew agents were driving to Connecticut, or they were taking a plane down to Florida to kind of reconnect, or maybe even just preparing to have everybody over their house.
Right.
And what I did is I made sure that I would be the first one to call them, and I would just grind that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday extra hard. So I wouldn't even double down, I would triple down. Sure. And the amount of business that I not only got immediately, but also set up for a successful early start of the year of, like, let's say January or February, it made a huge difference.
I'm sure it did.
And that doesn't just apply to Thanksgiving. I would do that with Christmas, not Eve, but let's say like the early 20s, 21, 22, around there. I would really start hitting it hard. And a lot of agents, they hibernate like bears for the winter. In addition to that, I learned from you. I believe the guy that we were both referring to, and you could kind of expand a little about it. He had 17 listings calling on New Year's Day. I remember that morning I came into the White Cloth office, me and you. I was in horrible shape. I was hungover. But I got in there and I made my calls, and I did get something out of it. So did I get 17 listings? No. But I want to just tell everybody that you need to, especially if you don't have any listings, especially if you're new in this business, take advantage of this time where other agents that are top producers, they don't need to, because they're making their millions. They're making their six.
Right.
You're not. So why are you comparing yourself to these mega agents when you just either got into the business or your business is low? That's my 2 cents.
Well, no, Theresa, you have anything that you want to add to that?
I would definitely agree wholeheartedly. I mean, the saying, when the cat's away, the mice will play. Well, that's the exact best time for a newer agent to get some market share. I mean, at least for myself, it was always around the late August, where everybody was just kind of coming back from vacation, kind of off their grind, and I was doubling down, and that was a time where I picked up some market share. Same as in February, like when everybody is telling you, no, the market's slow, it's flat. No, I'm still making the calls where I'm up against, maybe 15 people, whereas before it was almost, to 100. So the conversion rate's a lot easier to get, some listings, some market share.
Just like she said, I use the example of, who would you like to run a race against? 100 people or 10 people?
Or 10
I say
people.
that a lot
as
an objection handler.
Yep.
And if you use that same mindset as an agent, we only have a few agents that are going to be working around this time.
Sure.
So you're improving your odds exponentially.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So one of the biggest lessons I had to learn in real estate was how long it took for me to get paid. Right.
Mm.
So it's one thing to get into production. It's then once you're into production and making calls and prospecting, how long does it take for you to land an appointment, land a listing, get a contract on that listing, get it wrapped up and close? It took me a while to figure I don't get paid that month. I get paid 2 or 3 months later.
Amen.
And so once I learned that lesson, doing what you and I talk about, Ryan, by starting in November and December, really ramping up our calls, what that did for me is it ensured that I had paychecks coming in January, February, and March. And if you look at the typical agent, they don't have their first paycheck of the new year sometimes until April or May.
Amen.
Believe it.
Ouch.
Let me flip it again on you. What's on Friday? What's on Monday?
Cyber Monday.
And Cyber Monday. These
Oh,
agents
this Friday and Monday. Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, absolutely.
quick.
Absolutely.
They're super quick to press send, confirm purchase.
Right.
They're real slow about putting in the work to pay for that. Thus
Right.
not putting,
Well,
credit
yeah.
and debt. And
Well, of
it's
course.
like, come on, man.
Mm.
I hear you.
You want to
Yeah.
buy something? I'm not ever going to tell you how to spend your money.
Right.
At the end of the day, you need to figure out how it's getting paid for. So if you want to go and buy that flat screen TV that's 75% off, great, okay? Because in their mind, they're saving thousands of dollars. But what are you doing to pay for that, okay? A lot of agents, they're not putting in the time. They're not willing to do the grunt work. I said to Breakfast Club, hey, before you do press confirm purchase, I want you to promise yourself that you're going to put in some extra grunt work. I think that's what I said, grunt work, or make some extra calls or door knock or do something to offset that, because the payment needs to be made eventually, whether you're doing it right now or you're doing a year on a credit card.
Well, see, here's my concern. I love that you brought that up. I think agents, they get that, oh, I just got $18,000. I'm good for the next 2 or 3 months. Paying for the Black Friday and Cyber Monday purchase, they'll do. My question is, are you going to be able to pay your rent and mortgage and your car note?
Put the lights on. I think
emergencies.
that's Raj.
Emergencies.
Emergencies.
Accounted for.
Being
Priorities.
independent contractors, we should have, and this is just my opinion, 6 months to a year of our expenses put up in an account.
I'll give you one better. Share with the audience red light, green light.
So the whole concept of red light, green light, you have to make money before you spend it. We're so good about, hey, Zillow ads, here we go. Business cards, here we go. Signs, here we go. And we're spending all this money. We have to play red light, green light with our finances. And we really have to take stock every month of where we're spending our money and lead with revenue. We have to make the money before we spend it. When I think red light, green light, that's what it comes to mind, because that's how I was taught. Be careful about what you're spending money on. Everybody's in your pocket. There's always a class, a seminar, a program, a referral system, someone who's going to lead generate for you and send you referrals that you could be signing up for and spending money. Red light, green light. If you're not making the money, you cannot spend it. We have
What
to
do you need
better
more
use
of?
of our cash.
We need more what than what?
We need more revenue than expenses.
And we need
It's
more
about-
red lights.
And it's not about how much you make a lot of times. It's about how much you keep. So if you're making revenue, let me back up a little bit. Most agents aren't looking at their finances every month.
Amen.
We should be doing the second week of every month. We should be looking at the previous month and looking at where we spend our money. We should have a separate account for our business and a separate account for personal. If we're using the same credit card, we can easily go through and see where our money went for the previous month. And if you're doing that every month, you should be canceling some things.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We get on these automatic payments and we're paying for stuff, and it's like, I'm not even using that. Why do I have that service? I don't need that.
You put me on to red light, green light, and that's why I wanted to share that with everybody. Yes. But in addition to that, you also put me on to a phenomenal. Everybody uses our phone, to keep track of everything. But I want you to share with everybody that tool, and then in that tool, I know where you're going, baby, that has it in there, expenses, and it has a ton of other things. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist, and that applies to your finances as well. So I'll let you kind of share what I'm talking
about. I don't even remember how I got turned on to the Rebel Agenda.
Amazing.
It has been amazing for me. This one, this is my old one, so you'll see I have a lot of stickers in here. Just
hold it up higher. Hold it up higher, D-Red.
This here, this page, monthly financials, is what I'm talking about, and Ryan can show you in his book, The Rebel Agenda, sales forecasts, planned and actual. Like, we always have plans on what our expenses and revenues will be, but what are they actually coming out to be at the end of the month? Going through this every month, it has a area for you to do this once a month for a year or for 6 months. I think these go for 6 months. It's so important. And this agenda, what I love about the Rebel Agenda, not only does it have the monthly financials, it has a monthly to-do list. It has meeting notes. Like, this is my life.
Not to-do list.
Listen.
That shit was like. And here's another thing. This is a booming market. Mm-hmm. I always live my life with the expression when, the what is it? The iron's hot, strike.
Yes.
I think people are not understanding how amazing of a market this is. And they're going to realize when it's too late.
Yeah.
Well, so they realize it, and the issue is they're getting complacent because they're getting deals just because the market's great and they're getting referrals and things are falling in their lap. When you learn how to hustle during the great times, right? When we hit a recession, you guys already know how to hustle. People are still buying and selling when the market crashes, but you have to be good at having those conversations and creating dialogue with the expireds and for sale by owners. If you master that now when times are great, the other agents will get on the bandwagon later, but you're already on the wagon. You've already learned the skills. Right? They're going to be trying to call for sale by owners so they can pay their mortgage.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. And they're going to be doing that out of desperation. You're going to be coming from contribution. I've helped 10 expireds. Look at what I did for them. Call these people and they'll tell you how I showed up for them. And you'll have that whole list of expireds that you can go back to that will help you get new expireds, where all the other agents are going to say, oh, I don't have any production. I need to call expireds. And they're going to be tripping over their words and trying to lower their commission and overpricing property. And you're going to be able to come in from value and contribution and say, I've been doing this all along. Here are the people I've helped. Call these people. Let them.
When I first started, I'd walk around the office and I thought that everybody lead gen. Like all these top producers, I was like, oh, they must be really good because they keep on closing deals. So my mindset was that everybody was on the phone. Like, I didn't know better. I literally assumed that everybody was lead genning. I would say I need to keep on practice because they have so much production. They must be really good on the phones. I didn't know until maybe 9 months, maybe a year later, that I was one of the few. And I love that because I pushed myself really hard. And if I thought that maybe I was one of the few or that a lot of agents didn't lead gen, I wouldn't have got to the level I am at as quickly as I did. Not say I wouldn't.
No, I understand that.
It definitely inspired me to put in the extra time. And that's why I tell everybody, go to Staples, get a stack of 5 yellow legal pads. And I want you to crank out until your hand hurts. And people are like, whoa, that's old school. It is old school, but I was a teacher. And I'll tell you, when I would have people just do reps, whether you're running from the baseline to the other baseline to work on, your cardiovascular endurance, or you're writing it out and you're doing reps to get mental endurance. I can't tell you the importance of just reps, and it will just come out of you. Like, where did that come from? Like you were possessed. Like I remember Diana Kokoska, some of her objection handlers, I would say to the T, almost and the laugh, like hee at the end, and it would be beautiful, and the person would be like, okay, let's meet. Boom.
That's right. Because you're doing it over and over again. I took a page out of your book and then pushed 2.0 to learn the listing presentation, Theresa. I had you guys write it out.
Absolutely. You did. Super helpful.
And that hurts.
I didn't get that. And I remember going to a Mike Ferry thing in 2015, and he told us to do that. It was a free seminar for 3 days.
Yep.
They do it every day for 30 days. Sounds like it doesn't do anything to me. And I continued to be a buyer's agent.
Yeah.
And what I learned is so going back to the other part about working in December. Yeah, it is a 3 months. I mean, deals, I don't have I have faith that my deals will close, but I don't have 100% faith, and that keeps me going because if I do that, I don't even consider that being a check.
More. So when you're writing out, okay, so I'm writing out. You're gonna get annoyed with yourself that you don't know the next line, and then you have to go and take the time to look it up, and then you go back. So just by doing that, you're training your mind to retain it. And I'm telling you, people, if this doesn't work, I will buy you lunch. Go, Ryan, I saw your, little Zoom call or however you're going to, share this with the audience. I will buy you lunch, okay? And not McDonald's, a good lunch. If you write this out and you really are doing this for a 30-day process, we'll go Kiku, we'll go somewhere real nice and fancy, and I will pay the entire bill.
So here's what's interesting. You and I both know if they do this, and Theresa knows this as well, it will work. My biggest frustration is most people won't do it.
I've taught you. I've shared with you. I've showed you by example, but you're still not doing it. That's cool. I'll take that. But
right.
I can speak to that. I read a book recently. It was Napoleon Hill actually wrote it, Outwitting the Devil. And the premise he creates is that we're all kind of stuck in a trap after a certain age. We're all drifting. And the only people who really escape that drifting are the people who can think for themselves. So in a way, when people don't take the right action, I really don't fault them or blame them because I understand they're just in a hypnotic rhythm. This is what they've always done. And this is probably what they'll always do unless they're massively inspired or desperate.
Yes.
And so I really think past the age of 25, a person needs massive pain to take any sort of action. Gotcha.
And you may be right on that, right? Or massive inspiration to make a change. Right. It reminds me of that story in Bold. Ryan, you might remember this, where a lady is cooking ham for Thanksgiving and her daughter's watching her cook, and she cuts the end of the ham off of both sides and puts it in the pan. And her daughter said, "Mom, why are you cutting the ends of the pan of the ham off?" And she was like, "I don't know. Your grandmother always did it, so that's what I do." So they go ask the grandmother, "Hey, Grandma, why do you cut the ends off the ham before you put it in the roasting pan?" "I don't know. My mom always did it." Let's go ask her. And luckily, her mom was still alive. So they go to the nursing home and they sit down with the great grandmother and say, "Why did you cut both sides of the ham off before you put it in the roasting pan?" And the grandmother said, "Well, during our time, we didn't have a lot of money. We couldn't afford a larger pan, so we had to cut the ham down so it would fit in the pan." And so all these years, they thought it was something special about doing that. And all the family, all the generations would cut the ends of the ham off, and they didn't know why. It was because in the past, they didn't have a pot that was big enough for the ham, and they just continued to do it because they weren't asking questions. And it took the little girl to say, "Why are you doing it that way?" I thought that was huge.
I think it's
think about things differently all the time.
I think it's beautiful how kids. I read something about. I think it's Pam Christian. I like the site versus. She posted something, and if you guys are not following Pam Christian, then
I love Pam.
That's just silly.
No, she's great.
Anyway, she talked about the fact that when you're doing certain things, you need to do them almost like that childlike ambition. People were taught to go against their intuition. When you're a kid, you don't want to go maybe say hi to that creepy guy or whatever, but then your parents are like, no, he's a friend of mine, I've known him, and then you reluctantly go over. But there's some kind of vibe, some kind of energy that person's giving off, and then we are desensitized to trust that intuition as we are growing older. And then when we do grow up, we are not using our intuition. If anybody knows me, they hear me speak about my gut. You've heard me say it a million times. My gut says that I don't trust this buyer. Buyers are liars, you know me. But in addition to that, just a little extra than the normal buyer or liar. And 100 out of 100 times, I am right. And so I don't care what it is. I don't care if I go to my client and I tell my client, "Hey, listen, I don't have factual data to support why I feel this way, However, I need you to implicitly trust me that we not only either have a backup option or just outright move on from this. And it's a lot of trust that you're asking someone to, but that's, once again, you're the expert. You've been on this road before where they haven't.
Yes.
So
and that's where the gut comes in. I'm going to go down the rabbit hole and just tell you guys a quick story. This particular story, Michelle and I went to London, and we went to Paris when she was pregnant with Taylor. So we had a great trip. We saw Lauryn Hill in Paris. We really enjoyed walking around, going to the Louvre. We had a great time, on our trip. And so one day we went to breakfast at this local cafe. It was right down the street from our hotel. And we're sitting there and we're eating and we're having a good time. And all of a sudden, this white car pulls up and it parks on the street that said no parking. And I'm still eating and I'm talking to Michelle, and I noticed a man and a woman get out the car and just walk away down the street. And all of a sudden, I just felt like something's not right.
Energy.
And I told Michelle, I said, you know what? Let's wrap up and go.
Yeah.
And really quick check. We paid and we were out. The next day, we got on our flight to go home, right? We wake up in the morning to people calling us. Are you guys okay? That next day or following day after that were the bombings that happened in London. And one of the bombs that went off on that street that we were on at that cafe. So all of our family who knew we were traveling there were calling. They were super concerned. We didn't have Facebook. We weren't like doing the check-ins, and I wasn't posting pictures, so people didn't know where we were. And it happened on that street where our hotel was. One of the bus bombings happened. And I told Michelle, they could have been doing some type of test run. They could have been setting up a car with a bomb in it. I don't know what it was, but I felt this negative energy. And I said, we got to go. And so we have to learn to trust our gut, whether it's dealing with the seller, whether it's dealing with the buyer, whether you're an agent at an open house and someone comes in and you don't feel right about going into the basement with them because you're by yourself. Whatever it is, we got to start trusting our gut. And when our gut says no, or if it says yes, whatever it is, we need to trust that, because that energy is coming from somewhere. I believe that. I think that saved our lives, to be honest with you.
I agree. And I mean, I credit once again Pam Christian. I mean, she is talking about things that we all kind of, mention or sparingly, converse about. I think we don't put enough importance, enough emphasis on our gut, and especially in this business, there's so many different angles that a transaction. I'm basically saying transaction because deal. That's another thing I could get into. That we need to stop saying deal and start applying transaction, because the connotation deal has, as opposed to transaction, it needs to be more spot on. Yes. I've mentioned a million times that we're in a business filled with amateurs. I say that because people are not putting in the time, putting in the work to enhance their craft, to hone their craft. And I look at it like any business similar that allows us to get paid what we get paid. Yeah. At least you have to go to school for 2 years, if not 4 years. And we could get that in 2 weeks if you go to a certain program that offers it 8 hours a day. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I really believe that agents need to really dig deeper. They have another level, if not 2 or 3, to really get to their potential. I love the ability of having the Breakfast Club, and people like, thank you so much, Ryan, for having me get this production. And I'm like, listen, all I did was just get it from you and pull it out of you. Yep. And that's all. It was always in you. And I draw back to when I was a coach. I used to, have kids that couldn't catch a cold, and I would take just their strengths and enhance those by their willingness to just put in the work and just never give up. And if they miss, that's okay. They're going to keep on coming. If they miss again, they're going to keep on coming. If they miss, they're going to keep on coming. Why can't we apply that same strategy, that same coaching into being a realtor? If you miss the first prospect, that's okay. You come and you go for the next prospect. You miss that one, the next one. so on and so forth, until you get that client. And that client we're looking at $12,000-15,000. You stack that 10 times. Hello, you just made 6 fucking figures.
Absolutely. No, so listen, man, you're preaching to the choir, and I so agree with you. I look at, you were mentioning professions, like my sister, she went to undergrad, she went to law school. You look at doctors, they go to undergrad and med school, you're talking 6 to 8 years. And as a real estate agent in New Jersey, we can beat and match and beat their salary every day.
Which is my intention.
Yeah.
Well, and you'll do it because that's your intention. You're not trying to do it. You intend to do it, just like you intended to cap and you just capped. Because you have that mindset, you'll do it. Everyone has it in them. They're just not willing to put the work in to perfect their craft, right? Look at the Push 2.0 program. We had 8 people in that program. I thought it went extremely well. Everybody needs to be practicing their listing presentation. They don't have to take Push. They need to be practicing their listing presentation. I don't see anyone doing it at a high level. And that's how we earn our money. That's how we get to the point where we can make more than an attorney or a doctor, is by what we say when we show up. One thing I heard, and I've been using this a lot lately, is that people have already decided that you can sell their home when they invite you over for a listing presentation. You win it or lose it when you open your mouth. And a lot of times we lose it because we don't know what to say. We don't know how to overcome their objections, and we're not even practicing what to say.
How about I'll raise you one. It's not about what we're saying, but the conviction, the energy of how we say it. I believe they talk about 90% of the whole shebang is mental. Yeah. And we are not going to have the confidence if we're practicing once a week, if we have 1 or 2 role play partners. Brian Costello, for everybody that doesn't know, he's a phenomenal agent. He's out in California. But what I want you to understand is that he, in the very beginning, he was doing in the morning 5 days a week, in the afternoon 5 days a week, and at night 5 days a week. In total, that's 15 role play partners. And that's why he just skyrocketed. So
that's it, man. So it's
I know.
This message that we're both sharing, we get it. Theresa, you get it. What I want is other agents to jump on and get it.
Well, I'll tell you this. This one right now, she's going to be a capper in 2020. And that's not, an if, it's a when.
It's a win.
And I want them to see. How many listings do you currently have right now?
I currently have the rental, which is a commercial lease.
1. She's going to have in the area of 7 to 9 in the next few months simultaneous. And then after that, she's going to cap. Mark my word, go back to this video, play this video, and you're going to see that the proof is in the pudding. She is going to do exactly what we're talking about.
Doing the right activities.
And she's going to cap.
Getting the right
That's
mindset.
great. So I'm actually going to take a snippet of this Zoom call, and I'm going to send it to you guys. And then when you cap, I want you to kind of be like Gary Vaynerchuk. See, I told you back on November 27th at 7:54, I called it, I claimed it, I professed it. Here it is.
I could not be more confident of anything. The amount of faith I have, I just want her to share, if not trump that.
Yeah, absolutely. The confidence, to your point, is what you say and how you say it. I remember, dealing with expired, since we're talking about expireds, what really started helping me convert is when I would walk in the house and we would have the conversation, and I would say, on the phone, I wasn't sure if I can help you, but now that I've seen the house and I've talked to you, I know for a fact I can get this house sold, and I really look forward to going to work for you.
It's beautiful.
With that confidence and the confidence I had when I was carrying my sign up to the front door, like all that stuff seems real gimmicky, but when you would walk up with the sign, my confidence was like, this is mine. I'm getting this listing.
Well, if you think about it, when you say the script, that sounds salesy, but that's why you have the person that is either reading off it or knows it just well enough to say it without looking at the paper. And then you have another beast that internalizes it, and certain words, they're cue to upswing or downswing.
Yes.
And I mean, that is the difference between making 45 grand and 450 grand.
That's right. Oh, there's a beast next to you right there. She knows her listing presentation.
Amen. That's why, like, I know it for a fact that she's gonna cap, and it's pretty cool knowing that, because it's not gonna be a surprise for me. I know it's just a matter of when. Is she gonna cap before the summer? Is she gonna cap before the fall? Is she gonna cap before this time next year? I don't know, but it's really up to her, and that starts by every single day giving your gratitude to the man upstairs. For those that don't believe, that's fine. Give your gratitude to the universe, or give your gratitude to yourself. But start your day off with gratitude. Then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pop out of bed. That's Mel Robbins. For those that don't know it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That does not give you enough time to allow your mind to make an excuse. Then next thing you know, you're gonna go and you're gonna say an affirmation, or 2 or 3, and that's going to basically, in her case, it's going to have more self-belief and reinforce
set the tone for the day.
Set the tone, and just really just believe, not just go through the motion. And then it's look the part. I want you not to look like just I'll let you fill in the blank.
Right.
And look professional. Look, I tell her every day I leave, okay, I'm leaving with the intention of having a same day appointment. And so, sometimes I'll come to the office and I'll have the, full suit on. Sometimes I'll just, today's kind of like a Friday type feel, but I'd still be able to go, and I intend on having an appointment this afternoon. Lastly, it's taking the massive action. And a lot of people are like, oh, I can't call that. It's too early. No. You want to call early, because when you're calling later, you're going to be the 10th, the 15th person.
Yes,
by that time, they either took their phone off, ripped it out of the wall, or they're not picking up, or they even disconnected their phone.
Right.
So, I'm giving you pretty much what you should do. I used to not even allow myself lunch until I would have booked an appointment, and my stomach would be growling, and that would just more, just motivation to get that first appointment. And walk out of there 2, 3 appointments a day, 5 days a week. That's 15. Out of 15, how many am I converting? And then when I knew that I wasn't converting at a high enough level, I knew exactly what I needed to work on that weekend, and that was my listing presentation.
That's right.
So I'm here, you're here, she's here. There's so many tools, there's so many people there to help you. The only reason, and I won't say excuse, is you. You need to put in the work.
That's right.
Keep on hearing it. You got big goals. You don't need January 1st to be the resolution. Make your resolution this weekend. And starting Monday, that is you kicking it in. Before you press the confirm button on making your purchase for Black Friday or Cyber Monday, what are you willing to do to pay for that? Because a lot of people are writing checks that their ass can't cash, and it really just, it bothers me, to say the least. So on that note, I think we can just have a good ending. I want everybody to be grateful for the fact they're alive. They have all their senses. They have all their family. They have a lot of things that they're really not being kind of appreciative for. And that's that gratitude that will come back. The law of attraction, Bob Proctor, it's real. It's not hocus pocus. People look at me sometimes like I'm the crazy man because I talk about mindset, and that's fine. But there's a reason why 1% of the population owns, I believe, over 80% of the wealth. Those people have the mindset. They are believers. They could lose all their money today, and then tomorrow they're going to have a plan on how to get it back, and most likely they'll get back that money, if not more. And it's crazy. Look at the story of Walt Disney. There's so many other people. David Metzler. I mean, these people have lost it all, and they've come back, and their mindset is what got them through. So I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I want to wish everybody out there a happy Thanksgiving, and I want you to close this out, Big A.
So I'm going to close this out. I do have 2 quick questions for you guys. Number one, if you guys could give everyone listening on this call one reason they should be taking push on December 3rd, what would it be?
You first.
Easily. For those that don't know, my gratitude goes to D-Rad. First time I saw him, it was a script class, and I was like a little dog, just like I was like, you're going to teach me. No, a lot of people come up to me. They want me to coach them. I don't do coaching. I was like, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm not other people. You're going to teach me. You're going to teach me. And I just wouldn't let it go. I was like, let me just shadow you. And then finally I broke you down, and I was able to kind of, everything you said I would record, and then I'd come home and I'd type it out, and I would study those notes, and I would implement those notes. So, I mean, I would tell them that you're the main reason that I've capped you, the main reason I've grown so quickly in the short amount of time. I would say also that you say things in such, I call it the Billy D. Williams voice. I'm dating myself by saying that, but you hear like certain objection handlers, I hear how you say it. You have a great way of, what makes you say that, or just certain key things that you say a lot that I know when she is around you, because when I speak to her, Radney is come out. So I think that alone is worth the price of admission. However, you're going to learn so much more than that. And lastly, it's an investment in yourself. And this is an investment, especially for those people that have, multiple listings that close. You're going to have to pay Uncle Sam. So this right here is a way to take some of that off and reapply it to your owning your craft, to investing in yourself. So in all actuality, you're paying nothing. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you. All right, Theresa, how about you? Why would somebody take push on December 3rd?
I would say take push on December 3rd for a multitude of reasons, primarily because you're the real deal. And I found when I was just around you and listening to the way that you interact with people, I was picking up these nuances that sitting in my little cubicle, all alone calling, I was just hitting a dead end. And I think that you are that catalyst for people's growth when they come to that class, when they come and they interact with you. They realize there is more for them. They can get rid of that fixed mindset and say, no, I have another level. I have another 10 levels. And it's just a matter of knowing the technique, not just solely relying on a person's persona, and putting in the work. And you teach people exactly how to do that. You created the rubric for it.
Wow. Wow, you guys just made my day for me. And lastly, last time I interviewed someone, it was Sergio. And he posed a question to the next person that I interviewed. And he wanted to know, if you lost everything in real estate, you had to completely start your real estate business over again from scratch. Knowing what you know now, what would you do differently in your business?
I'll jump on this one. So what would I do differently? I think I got it from Brian Casella. Now, I'm going to just say he's not for everybody. I love him because he's very authentic. But he used to talk about, we're approaching, it's almost December, my birthday, January 16th. Shout out, man, gifts, welcome. Anyway, pretty much he would talk about how people take birthday week, and I was guilty of that. So I kind of made it like, I'm going to celebrate. I would do one celebration with my family and one with my friend, and then it's back to work. So if I could just kind of tell everybody, birthday is one single day. It's not birthday week. It's not birthday month. So kind of that. And then also Gary Vee talks about living for your Fridays. Okay. And the fact that if you're living for your Fridays, your whole bleep is messed up. And you need to reevaluate your life, because you're missing a good chunk of your life. And if what you're doing is not what you love, I'm not telling you to go out there, and he's not telling you to go out there and quit, but it's while you're doing that, when you're not working, what's your plan B? What are you going to do to set up an enjoyable life? And maybe financially you're not in a position to leave, but let's start setting up an exit strategy to one day be happy. And that's not just Fridays, that's Monday through Sunday, or however, whenever your week starts and finishes. Also help more. And that just doesn't mean financially. Les Brown talks about, I don't care if you go over and help somebody by licking envelopes. Help. Go out and live your life a certain way. That's Bob Proctor. Make a positive difference. Give people the shirt off your back. If that's what you want to do. I'm gearing myself up to be that person. Now, if you go back 3 years ago, I wasn't that person. So I want to be able to, when I take my last breath or I'm on my deathbed, whenever that is, I want to be able to say, you know what, I gave my all. I made a difference. I made this world better than how I first saw it. And when I do that, make my mom happy. She means the world to me. Make my family proud, because my name is their name. So I have to make sure that I'm representing it in the best possible way. And then, ultimately, I want to be able to provide for my family down the road. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I am always available if anybody has any questions. And I wholeheartedly mean that. I want to say one more thing. I thank you so much, D-Rad, for everything you've done for me. You are my brother from another mother. I mean it. We've grown together. I see you more than probably, anyone, or we're talking. Whenever I'm, on the edge of the cliff, you're always there to kind of woo-saw. And believe me, it's much, much appreciated. So.
My man. Absolutely. Thank you, man. Thankful to have you in my life, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. And Theresa, how about you? What would you do differently, knowing everything you know, if you had to start over again in real estate?
Number one thing I do differently is change my environment and allow myself the opportunity to be my own individual. So, there's multiple people in my life that get on me about this. This is him too, as well. He says, you have to, if you're flying in a plane and crashing, who do you put the oxygen mask on first?
Right.
And the answer is yourself.
Yourself.
And I didn't do that originally. I let my clients walk all over me. I let certain people that were very close to me, that I felt I had an obligation to, walk all over me. And you know what? It didn't result in money. Nada. Those were income producing activities. So it would be getting out of my own way and valuing myself and my future, such that the now reality and the now naysayers and the people who expect me to lay down like a rug don't have that say, don't get that say, don't get that say at the table.
Okay. I love that. Dr. Phil says we teach people how to treat us, and I so believe that. And so having that standard in your personal life and in your business, you teach people how to treat you, and they will respect you and respect your schedule and your time, just like we respect our professionals that we deal with. Your clients will, respect you like a professional.
Yes.
I can't call my doctor at 8:00 at night and say, I need to talk right now. Right. I'm going to get the voicemail and they'll call me when they open up. Right. So if we look at it like we're professionals, people will treat us like we're professionals. We teach people how to treat us. So I appreciate you sharing that. I'm thankful for both of you. I know I took a little bit longer than I said I would on this call, but there was so much great dialogue and storytelling. I had to keep it going, but I'm thankful for you guys, and I really appreciate you taking some time to chop it up with me today.
Thank you so much. Happy Turkey Day to everybody. Happy Gobble Gobble, all that good stuff. I'll talk to you soon, sir. Give my best to Michelle and the girls.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.